Welcome back to Film Floggers. We review films and flog dead horses, so you don't have to. Is this week's film choice a complete waste of your viewing time? Much like flogging / beating a dead horses, get it? Please head over to www.filmfloggers.com to check out all of our previous floggings. And while you're there, maybe hang out for a while, look around and vote for our next film. Click on vote, or visit www.filmfloggers.com/vote. Are you an idiot? If so, please check out our Idiot's Guide to Reviewing Us, where even a big dummy like you can leave us a red-hot review. Here at Film Floggers, we pride ourselves on offering 1-star content with 5-star effort. Once on the website, please click on Idiot's Guide, or visit us at www.filmfloggers.com/review-us. That should have been Idiot's Guide. My fault, I didn't change the URL. Annoying. Once again, filmfloggers.com/review-us. Believe it or not, we now have a Patreon. I know what you're thinking. You have the audacity to ask us to pay to receive more of this. Pause for dramatic effect. Yes. We have a Patreon exclusive show called Nitpickers. I think you'll like it. Please visit www.filmfloggers.com/support-us. Again, that hyphen is annoying, should have removed it. Or head straight to our Patreon page. Patreon.com/filmwafflers. No idea why I did film wafflers. Another mistake. Where you can support us for as little as £1 British or $1.50. And while you're on the website, punch that big purple subscribe button and tell a friend about the flog. Wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, mistress, your nan, granddad, your kids. They can tell their friends. They can tell their friends at school about the flog. But in all seriousness, this really helps the podcast grow and enables us to enrich or ruin the lives of the hundreds of millions of earlobes we haven't reached yet.
I'll see. I think eventually it might become just Patreon exclusive. But we'll see.
Oh yeah.
See if I can get people in on it, and then just say, look, give us a £1 a month to 100 things, and we'll give you this, or give us £2 a month, and we'll give you 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad asking people to give me fucking money for this shit.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I don't know whenever, or if there ever will be a time where I'll be able to go, right, now's the time to get the old Patreon on the go. I think this is. I don't really know what else I can offer.
I know.
Other than doing the same dog shit that I'm doing now, but just going like, do you mind just paying for this now?
Yeah. You've been getting it for free for a fucking year and a half. Do you now want to pay for it? Because what are you going to do? Stop doing it if they don't pay for it? No.
What?
They got you over a fucking barrel, mate.
I don't know. I don't know what people do really. I know some people just get it done early. So it's just there, like, straight away. It's like, hi, we're here, blah, blah, blah. We've got these episodes for free, but if you want an extra episode, or if you want an extra 20 minutes of this junk, then you must sign up for Patreon.
But you look at some of it and you think, who the fuck wants extra of that? I can wait a fucking day. I'm not going to pay you £2 to wait to get something a day early.
Well, yeah.
£2 a month for 2 episodes, 2 days a day early each. No, you're all right.
Well, that's the thing. That sort of thing only works in my mind when you're like, you've got thousands of people who are just like, oh my God, just chomping at the bit to get the next bit of content.
Yeah.
I can't wait till tomorrow, fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I haven't got the fucking energy to put the content together to get it away early. Do you know what I mean? Usually it's, today's episode was finished edited for the first time ever. It's fucking 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Usually it's like 11 p.m. Sunday night. By the time it's all edited and fucking ready to go, and then I'm a day behind watching the films again.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's literally gets to the point where it's like, if you want to go all in on Patreon, by all means, but you're going to have to probably quit your job. Yeah. And you have to just tell your wife, like, look, don't panic. We may be a bit behind on the rent for the mortgage for a couple of months, but this Patreon's going to fucking take off.
Just you wait till I'm giving people 15% discounts off pairs of fucking women's gym leggings that say fucking proper actor down the side. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, see, that's it as well, isn't it? I think the only thing that would make sense is this the dizzy dreams of someone like coming out of the woodwork and going like, God, Film Floggers, you are so fucking lush that we are going to sponsor you and we're going to give you X amount of money to just record episodes. Buy this dog shit and you get £1,000 a month. That's it. Oh, all right, sweet.
Joe Rogan's been cancelled, so on you go, Film Floggers. Why don't you have the $2.5 million a year that we pay him, and you'll be like, fucking yeah, go on then, not a problem at all.
That's not bad. Actually, you could do that. Actually, you can maybe just like come off all the other podcasting platforms and just pretend that you've signed a deal and you're exclusive to only Spotify.
Well, you could.
You'll get Spotify Premium, but you've got to pay me directly for it.
We're recording, by the way. Whenever you want to go, mate, you can go.
Oh, right. Well, okay. Here we go then. Now we're doing 15 minutes, but we'll do the review in 15 minutes. But then, either side, a bit of rambling. By this point in this 31 flog dog shit that we're doing, I've kind of given up. I'm doing the 15-minute reviews with Fiona because that's all she will do, because she's refusing to do anything longer. But then we're doing the 15 minutes, and it's like, oh yeah, I need another 5 minutes at least, please.
I watched this and wished I was watching Nosferatu. I'm going to be honest with you, Ben. I just thought, I wish we were watching Nosferatu.
Oh yeah, Nosferatu's out. Well, by the time this comes out, it will be out. That was a bit of a dud of an episode, I think. Unfortunately, I don't want to blame anyone, but Fiona had a real shocker on that one. Yeah, my fault. What do I expect? Making them watch a film from 21, 22, so it's almost 100 years old, and I don't think she could accept that it was silent. She just couldn't get her head round the idea that there was no audio or there was no speaking from the characters.
You should have put voices on. Like, you should have put on voices like Dieter Laser does in this movie, and put on like some sort of German kind of stilted proto-Nazi accent.
Yeah, I think you should have fallen for it as well.
I don't know why you didn't, actually, Ben. I think you've let yourself down there. Oh, what is all these rats doing in this town? Or something.
The remake's good, actually. The remake of Nosferatu is pretty good.
It's a 70s movie. I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's Werner Herzog. It's Klaus Kinski, that maniac.
Oh, right. Okay, I can't believe I've never seen that.
He's a bit of a nasty bloke.
Have you seen the film that's meant to be the making of The Shadow of the Vampire? Have you seen that? Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, we spoke about that on the episode, actually, and I've still not got round to watching it. No, but apparently it's quite good.
That's bloody brilliant. Yeah. So it's really meta. Yeah, it really works.
Yeah, it looks good. But, right, I guess...
Yeah, we've stalled long enough.
Well, oh God. Before we start the 15 minutes, just off the top of the head, what did you think of Human Centipede? In a sentence.
It was peaks and troughs, mate. Peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
Its lows were very, very low, and its highs were also very, very low, but were less low.
Yeah. Well, I should say, I've not actually said who I'm speaking with, as it's not Fiona, it's not Tom.
No, so it's fucking not.
Hang on. Is that Fiona?
Fucking Ben. The sound isn't working. Green screen Ben. The fucking Pretty Woman.
Oh, God, yeah, talking about Pretty Woman. Yeah, so this is the thing. Yeah, this is the outrage, is that I'm still yet to come on 100 Things Pod, and Fiona got on there before me, somehow. I don't know how that works, but anyway.
It was. We were working on the ratios. We'd had a lot of male guests on and only 2 female guests on, so we were working on the ratios. So you will be there at some point by the end of the year, once we can find something really fucking poisonous to make you watch, like you did this with me.
Well, again, see, this is a bit of a bad one actually for me, because I did try and make you and John Boy watch this. It backfired. It didn't come out of the hat, unfortunately, and now somehow we're doing it on FilmFloggers. So shot myself in the arse for that one, big time. So anyway, it's Mark, by the way. How you doing, Mark?
Yeah, hello. I'm all right, mate. I'm all right, considering. Yeah, considering that I'm sewn to somebody else's arsehole. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah.
Where would you want to be in that 3-piece?
Oh, you've got to be at the front, right?
I suppose
you've got to be the guy. Really. You've got to be the guy that. But then at the same time, he's such a kind, supportive head of the centipede that he doesn't want to shit in the other girl's mouth. Whereas I believe in Soho, you can pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah. I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
It's gonna have to be at the front, isn't it? I suppose. If you're feeling really fruity, you'd say the middle part, I guess.
Well, I mean, it doesn't end well for the middle, really, but at least she lives. Oh, spoilers, Christ. As if you're listening to this going, just maybe I'm going to watch the Human Centipede. No, that's not what you're here for.
Yeah, I should say, there's always spoilers on FilmFloggers, and I never announce it, so sorry, everyone.
We don't either. We've constantly got spoilers.
Oh, God, right. Oh, God, do you want to start this 15-minute rubbish?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, let's fire in.
Right, yes, right. So Fiona's not here, so I better give a quick summary of what this 15 minutes is all about. So, yes, 15 minutes of flog. We do 5 minutes chatting about the director, the actors, all that kind of stuff. A little bit of trivia. Then the rest of the review, we just talk about the film. Last 30 seconds, the old timer goes on. And then we try and summarise our thoughts in 30 seconds. And that's your lot, really. As I said, it's going to be 15 minutes, but expect it to carry over a bit more. And as you've seen, we've had a pretty lengthy intro because I just don't want to do 15 minutes because I'm sick of them.
But I also don't want to do a 90-minute episode talking about the Human Centipede of anybody's podcast, let alone mine.
Well, yeah, I've got notes for it, probably about a 2.5 hour episode if you change your mind, but we'll see how the 15 minutes goes. All right, okay, right. So 3, 2, 1, go, and we're off. Right. So the Human Centipede, director Tom Six, is that right?
Yeah, imagine that being your name. Can't be. I thought it can't be a real name. Turns out it is. It's a real name.
Is he Dutch?
He is. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I'm Dutch. Yeah, his sister is a producer. She's called I don't know, Sarah Six or something. I don't fucking know.
4.4 on the old IMDb. 4.4.
Yeah, I mean, that's astonishingly high when you consider the next two are something like 3.8 and 2.2.
2.2. Jeez. So the third one's 2.2.
2.2 is the last one. I haven't seen the second one, but I've seen the third one, and it's an abomination. It makes this one look like Nosferatu, which is beautiful.
Yeah, so I've seen the second one, but I've not seen the third one. I know what the third one's about. I've seen clips, and I get it, but
yeah, it's the same actor, this Dieter Laser guy, playing some Texan kind of prison owner, and he's still got the German accent. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
They're both meta, aren't they? So the sequel is the guy, the hideously fat bloke who's in that. He's seen the Human Centipede, and he's like, oh, yes. He gets all excited, and he's like, I want to create my own one. Right, so fine.
Yeah.
So is the third one, have they seen the Human Centipede Part 2? And they're like, oh, that looks very interesting. Let's do that.
Yeah, I think it's a he finds out something about what's been going on previously, and he decides that it's a way to save money in the American prison system. Which that idea is kind of something, but it's not. It doesn't come to anything, it's like putting prisoners out in tents out in the sun, like they actually do in prisons in America in the hot blazing sun. It's that, but it's the next extension. Tom Six thinks he's saying something about the state of humanity in the American prison system, and he's just not.
Right.
He's like a child kind of poking at what he thinks, prodding his father's kind of coattails in a conversation, but never really having anything to say that's of any importance, in my opinion anyway. Come at us, Tom Six is what I say. Come the fuck at
Come
film
on the
Floggers.
show. Christ, let's discuss part 2 and 3. Yeah, okay, well, so saying that, do you think there's anything in the Human Centipede in this one in terms of it being a social commentary on something? Without digging too deep, because of course, you can dig really deep and go, oh, hang on, there's this. Is there anything that, jumps off the page where you're like, oh, that's kind of interesting, maybe?
No. I mean, the idea apparently came about Tom Six at a dinner party with some mates had sat around and said, we think the punishment for anybody that's a child molester should be, you should be stapled to the arse of a fat trucker or something, and that's your punishment. I'm kind of, okay, I get what you're getting at, an eye for an eye and all that, but no, there's nothing in this that's anything other than just a little daft idea and trying to flesh out around it.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest problems with this film, there's many, but I think it's just that Six, he thinks the concept is interesting enough for it to do all the work.
Yeah.
There's not much else going on other than this doctor is insane, and he's got the humans, and he's turned them into a human centipede, and that's it.
Yeah. This is gruesome, and you'll be grossed out for 90 minutes, even though the Human Centipede really only in the film for about 40 minutes. There's a bit at the beginning with the dog, which I was the most freaked out about.
Oh, the horrendously photoshopped dog. Their nose just stuck on the other dog.
Yeah, I mean, dogs like to smell other dogs' arses, so, what was the problem there? But yeah, I mean, that was the bit that upset me probably the most. Oh, poor dog.
Yeah, and he's just sort of just stroking it with his thumb, just going, oh, this looks very nice, yes. Yes. Look, I guess the opening is like it's horror cliche, isn't it? It's like you got the two girls, the two tourists who are on summer vacation, whatever they're doing in Germany. They're there. They're having a nice time. They're off. I don't even know where they're going. They're going somewhere. Break down in the rain. Knock on the door of the nearest house, and it's this mad scientist. So again, like I don't know if that was on purpose. I don't know if Six has set that up and as like just a horror cliches, throw them at the screen, and then you're like, oh, where's this heading? Oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure. If you just don't know what the Human Centipede is and you've just gone in blind, you're like, oh, okay. What's this guy going to be doing with these poor, helpless girls? Oh dear. Oh God.
Yeah, he's gonna staple them to a trucker. Oh, hang on a second. That trucker's no good. We can't use him. And we'll just kill the trucker.
Probably a stupid question, but is this plausible?
It was blood. Was it blood? Was it a blood type or something that meant that they couldn't use? But they're not attached by any kind of blood system that I could tell. I'm sure he mentions arteries and capillaries and things at some point, but
it just seems a bit too basic, doesn't it? The idea of just living off each other's shit.
Yeah.
Lots of things could go wrong. You know, I know from personal experience that some of the turds that I've laid over the years, if that's going in someone's mouth, that's not going to end too well, I don't think. I think that there's going to be some choking going on. And I imagine throwing up. What happens when you throw up? Where does that go? Do you just re-swallow the throw up?
Yeah, you would have to. I mean, I've pebble dashed a few houses, let's say, after a curry or two, and some strong ale. But yeah, I mean, how does that work? I mean, it doesn't work. I think the whole joke is you will eat that person's shit, and that person will eat your shit, and that's the whole thing. And that's the horrifying thing, and all you can do is crawl around a house, and you just maybe get up a couple of steps, but that's it. That's the thing. You are trapped, but you're also a monster. I don't know.
That's what we're waiting for, isn't it? Like the Doctor. Like that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that moment where the guy goes, "Oh my God, I need to shit." Oh, and we're like, "Oh yes, finally." Here we go. This is what we're here for. And the Doctor gets very excited, starts, he's very animated, starts jumping around. In some ways, which is a positive, I think, for the film, is that there isn't like a lot of gore. There's not a great deal of blood. I know it's like, it's sold as this depraved and it's body horror and exploitation, and there's no turds, there's no poo around. You don't see any of that. There's little to no blood, and when there is blood, it's justifiable. It's like it makes sense. It's not really that sexualized, really. I think the only things that you get where it shows something where the Doctor is in some ways when he's doing the surgery, it's kind of orgasmic. He's getting pretty excited with that, and then after he's done it, he's pretty happy. And on the sofa, I think when he's drugged them, he's like, oh yeah, looks like he's getting a bit of a boner on the sofa. But I don't really think the idea of the actual centipede is actually arousing him as such. I just think it's the idea, isn't it? It's the idea that he's done it and he's created this masterpiece or whatever he wants to call it, and that's what's getting him off rather than the actual looking at the centipede, because I think he just sees that as his new pet, doesn't he, more than anything.
His backstory, something about removing conjoined twins, undoing conjoined twins.
He's an expert in that,
and that's his thing. And this is kind of like, I'm bored of that, and I want to do something. I'm going to use my expertise to do something a little bit different and a little bit special. So I'm going to sew you pricks together. Yeah, and you kind of you don't really get anything out of that, and then out of nowhere it turns into some sort of cop drama. It wants to be a lot more than it is. It wants to be a kind of a kiss the girls, or it wants to be a kind of a manhunt, and it's none of these. It's not Silence of the Lambs. It'll never be Silence of the Lambs, but it quite blatantly wants to be. And these coppers turn up and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna come in and have a look." Okay, yeah, well you can't come in. Right, well we'll be back with a search warrant. Fuck, I mean, it is such basic police procedural that SVU wouldn't even do that. And that's some of the worst written stuff.
Yeah, he makes a bit of a showing of it, doesn't the Doctor? Like he just spends the whole time during his chat with the cops looking very suspicious and just tries to ram water down the throat. You must drink this! It's like, what are we doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I think that's when the film falls down a bit. When it tries to add this extra stuff in. When it takes away from the centipede. And I guess that's probably what happens with the sequels, is that, well, I've only seen the second one, but the second one is just, it's just gross. It's gross. It's hugely sexualized. It's depraved. It's just horrible. And I think this one, there's a couple of bits where, I wouldn't say interesting, but, you know, when she escapes and she's running around the house, I think the film's kind of reasonably well shot. That's probably because the house and the setting's quite interesting. The house is quite an interesting area. So maybe it's not shot as well as you think it is, but that's all right. It goes on for too long. Like, she runs around, he comes through the window, then she does a couple of lamps in the pool, then she goes back out again. It's like, this is kind of okay. It's kind of interesting a little bit, but it just drags on and on. It's like, oh, you've overdone it. I think anytime it tries to stray away from just the stuff about the centipede, it falls down. It starts just to, you know, just become boring. And that's for me with these sort of films. When it becomes boring, that's the biggest crime of all. I don't think they should be boring. Gross, but not boring.
Yeah, and that's it. It can be as gross as it wants, and it can be... And actually, do you know, if it's silly, I kind of like that. I don't mind the slapstick and the stupidity, but when it just goes on and it's scenes of him kind of straightening his jacket and looking longingly at the creature, or, you know, talking to it, and, you know, then having the guy at the front, Katso, I think he might have been called. I can't remember what he was called. Kasoto, he might have been called at the front.
Lindsay Jennifer, is it Jennifer? And yeah.
Kasoto, I think. I'm probably getting that miles wrong, but he's got his own problems, and at the end he's kind of like, yeah, well, I deserve this because I was a terrible father or a terrible son or something, and then just slits his throat. And you're like, okay, well, we all know that you can't just slit your throat like that. It doesn't just quite work. It's a little bit more effort than that, mate. And secondly, that's kind of, well, that's the end of that, you know. Meanwhile, the girl at the back's got, you know, getting a diseased face.
I was getting quite nippy, actually, when he's getting the old PowerPoint presentation out and he's trying to show that to them.
Yeah.
Because obviously, yeah, the girls were screaming. Well, they were like, oh, you know, sobbing, like, please. The guy was like, you know, he was shouting, calling him like a Nazi and all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, no, can you just be quiet? I actually want to listen to what this guy's got to say. I'm quite interested to see how he's going to do this shit.
We've been invited to his TED Talk. Let's get involved.
So I was just like, no, just be quiet. I'll keep it down. I want to hear what this guy's going to do. So that was okay. It was reasonably well done, that scene, when he's going through, you know, what he's going to do. And yeah, you know, again, it's stupid, it's silly, but, you know, I didn't mind that. There is a couple, as I said, there is a couple of scenes that aren't completely terrible, that you think, yeah, there's something there. Like most films, if you try and go down the rabbit hole and you really try and get into what's maybe being said, what Six is trying to say about the human centipede and the bigger message and this whole social commentary, I'm sure it's there. And I don't think you have to look very hard to see some of it. You know, if you scratch the surface, it's there. And for some people, looking at it in that way and trying to find the hidden messages, or the ones that are out in the open and exploring them a bit more, they may get something a bit more from it. For me, I'm just like, no, I want to just be sort of kind of entertained for 90 minutes with a bit of grossness stuck in there.
Yeah, and he throws this thing at the end, this whole, oh my God, how awful it would be to die trapped between two dead people that you're sewn to, with nobody knowing you're there and no way of getting out and all this kind of thing. And I'm kind of like, okay, that's got something about it. But, you know, only a short number of years previous was that the Descent movie, where, and again, the end of the Descent movie, spoiler, she is trapped in these caves with all these monsters around her. And it's the same ending, but I have not once thought of the ending of this movie, which I think I must have maybe seen about 10 years ago. But I often think of the end of the Descent movie, where she is trapped in the caves with all the monsters around her. That is done so much better than how this is just this shit, pardon the expression, that we are being fed into our mouths, eyes, ears, and possibly noses as well. Who knows?
Yeah, it's too late by that point, isn't it? I think the ending is bleak. It's okay. It's like, yeah, that's she is literally stuck between a rock and a hard place, or an anus and a mouth. Oh, God, last 30 seconds, bloody hell.
Oh, no, what?
Right, Mark, please, summary, Human Centipede.
Look, for me, there's so many better monster movies than this, from Frankenstein onwards and all the stuff we see today. It did absolutely nothing for me. I hated every minute of it. Yeah,
I think there's a couple of things that almost redeem it in some ways, but it's junk. And, in some ways I don't quite get why it's, people hate it as much as they do, other than it just being in places quite boring.
In summary, let's punch the fuck out of Tom Six if we ever meet him.
Yeah. Look, the thing is, with that whole saying it's boring, that's what gets me with these sort of films. Like, so I remember me and Tom watched a film back in the uni days, on like a random like Tuesday afternoon, missing lectures. Thought, we'll put this on. This is the thing to do. We put a film on called Michael from, I think it's like 2011. It's an Austrian film. It's based on a real event, I think, of a girl being kidnapped by a bloke and kept in like a basement. That sort of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah. It was pretty light. Yeah, it was. So this guy called Michael, he has this kid. I think what was the kid called, Wolfgang or something, in his basement. I don't know how long he's been there for, and they have this kind of father and son type relationship. But he's also sexually abusing him, as you do.
Okay,
of course.
Yeah, classic Austrian behaviour.
But the thing about that sort of film is that it was just there was like there was a good chunk of it where he leaves the boy by himself in the basement and he just goes off skiing. He just goes on a skiing holiday for like 20 minutes and he just starts sleeping with like women on in this chalet, and it's just like, what the fuck is this? I don't know what you expect from this type of film, but it was just like, this is so boring. This is what gets me about these sort of films, is that I don't think I've got a weak stomach. I live with Fiona, so like I can handle quite a lot of shit. But my thing, like I said in the review, is that when stuff becomes boring, that's when I'm just like, no, this is not good for me. It's quite soon after, I think it was the year after, Centipede, a Serbian film. Have you seen that?
No, I won't. I won't watch it on principle.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of films I won't watch on principle. You've seen our podcast.
Yeah, I've seen it again. I saw it once at uni. It's what do you even say about it? It's boring. It's just boring. It's like 105 minutes, and it's from one scene to the next of just absolute just madness, depravity.
It had its time in the sun, yeah. and it got the columns in the papers and on the online, and that's what it needed. And people are still talking about that, and by extension, they're still talking about the director or whoever the distributor is, and so. It got those names out, and that's what it was for. That's what it was for. It's got no artistic merit.
No. What I was trying to say at the end of the 30 seconds was that people would rank the Human Centipede as like the most depraved, most disgusting film ever, and it's like it's not nice. Don't show your nanny, but like I wasn't watching that at the end of it going like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to watch that again. I can't believe it. Oh, I feel so sick. I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, another 90 minutes of this, yeah.
Yeah, like, God, what the fuck are me and Mark going to talk about for this junk? Like a couple of scenes that were like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you could have fleshed it out a lot more, without needing to. But again, I think it's created as the Duplo blocks, and I won't say Lego because it's not even that intricate, but the Duplo blocks of the next film, which of course I haven't seen, and the third film. And he's had this idea, and this idea is just an idea of this Human Centipede through the movies getting bigger and getting more intricate. And you've got to start that somewhere. But what he could have done here was made it a lot more interesting. In fact, it could have been a lot more gruesome. It could, it was passed in 18 in the UK. You could have got one of those unrated versions that you used to get on the DVD all the time. Yeah,
well, I think he may as well. Judging by the second one and the third one, again, looks horrific. That's kind of what he did. He's riding high on the concept of the Human Centipede. And he's like, that will do for this one. And maybe he has tried to make a bit of a film out of it. He's gone, do you know what? I'm going to hold back on the poo. I'm going to hold back on the gore and, the depravity and the nastiness, because I'm going to try and make a kind of semi-interesting film with a message. You may as well just go all out, Tom. Just go all out, because I think in this setting, it would have worked probably a bit better than it does in the second one with this, obsessed fan. And the jump is too extreme. The first one's nasty. The second one is just horrific.
The first one could happen? ? Potentially, if this guy is an expert with all this kind of stuff and that is his field, absolutely. But some bloke who's watched it, who's found this kind of video somewhere in a fucking black market, dark web, whatever it might be, then goes, oh, I'll have a go at that. I can do that. Instantly you go, well, no, just make this one a bit more intricate and have a bit more story to this one. And then, one shot and you're done, mate.
Yeah, and the second one is just
nonsense because it becomes just ridiculously sexualized, and it's violent. It's violent, sexual, just rubbish. Putting barbed wire on your chode and all that sort of stuff. It's like, what are you doing? Like, why?
Oh, right, okay, yeah. I didn't watch it because I'd heard some really nasty things had to get cut out of it. The BBFC, who, as we know, are quite overzealous anyway in this country, but they cut, I think, a good 3 minutes out of it, and for them to cut 3 minutes out of a movie it's not unheard of, but it's unlikely in this country. So there was obviously a lot of stuff in it. I thought, well, that's maybe not what I want. So I went straight to the third one, and I got absolutely nothing out of it. Absolutely nothing.
No, there's a skill to it, though, isn't there? You can think of all the most depraved stuff ever, but to put it on screen is one thing. But to put it on screen and actually make sense of it and actually do it reasonably well, where you sort of think, yeah, okay, that's pretty grotesque, but okay, there's some other stuff going on in this film. I can take one or two
narrative.
Yeah, I can take one or two scenes of just some of the worst, most hideous, disgusting things ever. If it makes sense, if we got a good film in and around it. But
yeah, if it fits within the storytelling arc, then great. If it doesn't, no thanks. You're all right. Just keep it, or make your short movie for the internet on fucking Flash Player.
Yeah, but I think I've got Roger Ebert's not his full review, but I've got Roger Ebert's review, and apparently just one line of it. Apparently he said he didn't give it any stars. So he said, and I quote, "Is the movie good? Is it bad? Does it matter? It is what it is, and occupies a world where the stars don't shine."
Right. Okay.
I had a quick read of it, and he doesn't come out and just say this film is horrible, like this film should not be watched. I think he just tries to just come to terms with what it is and what he's seen.
Yeah.
And then gives it that at the end.
He must have seen it all, though. I mean, he must have seen trash beyond trash.
Yeah, I don't know what his review would have been for a Serbian film. Yeah. Or you've got what's the other one called? The Italian one. Salò.
Oh yeah. That's a lot of fun. But again, it's nothing. It's not a film. It just so turns out it's 2.5 hours of not a film.
It's the same stuff, isn't it? That's there are some interesting films within this kind of exploitation, really depraved, torture porn, whatever you want to call it. There's stuff like Martyrs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Decent film in its own right. It's got some reasonably interesting themes going on in that. You've got. Have you seen a film called Inside?
I have, yeah. I have, yeah.
Pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Irreversible.
Yeah.
Not as rather one or two scenes which are like, oh my God.
Yeah, I felt really uncomfortable going to cinemas to see the movie Prisoners, which is Paul Dano is an alleged child abductor, and your man Wolverine kind of basically burns him with a hot shower for hours on end, keeps him in a fucking basement for years.
Yeah, come to think of it, that is quite a nasty film, actually, Prisoners.
That is really nasty. And for Hollywood to do something quite as nasty as that, I was surprised by. I'd expect all the other stuff from the independents and things, but I think that was like I want to say New Line or something like that. And you're kind of like, what are you playing at? There's nothing in it where I sat and watched it and thought, okay, I'm all right with you doing this. I'm not advocating for child abuse, or kidnap or anything, but at no point did I sit and watch it and go, this is all right. This is okay. Because, I don't read the fucking Sun, and vote Tory. So, that's very, very simple. I don't drink at Wetherspoons, simple.
Yeah. I don't know actually if that's, I guess I've not really looked at reviews for Prisoners, but how they took the idea of Paul Dano being...
It was universally loved.
Yeah, no, it is, yeah. Yeah, I've never really heard any people sort of saying it's really heavy as such. I think it's just maybe...
I always thought
I guess it's just one of those things where, because it's such a good film, it's like you don't question it as much because it makes sense within the narrative and it's got, really good performances. It's an interesting story. You're sitting there, you're like, oh, you're wincing, going, that's heavy. But you're not going like, oh, this is out of place. Like, oh...
Yeah, and you can put up with it because it's great actors. Terrence Howard, I think, is the other actor in that. Yeah, so it's it's good actors doing what they do best. And Paul Dano's despicably unlikable in it until you kind of realise, well, hang on a second, oh shit, oh dear, and you kind of think to yourself, well, I've got to be on the side of Hugh Jackman because it's Hugh Jackman. You know, he doesn't play baddies except when he's murdering elephants and singing about it. He just doesn't do it.
Oh God, yeah,
it's a great show.
Yeah,
never forget that Barnum killed Dumbo's mum. Never forget that. I'll never let anybody forget
I'm surprised
that.
they've not churned out a sequel to that yet. That did pretty well, didn't The Greatest Showman, I think.
It did extremely well, in spite of the fact that, as Mark Kermode says, it's not a single memorable song in it, and I couldn't agree more. It's the biggest load of trash on the worst green screens I've seen since the Batman-Superman movie. Yeah.
I think when you start going into the realms of having fully formed CGI animals as well, that's a
yeah.
I know, of course. Like, you can't just have lions and elephants just stomping around and doing backflips. Like, fine, I get it, but I'd rather just not. Just get a practical one. Just make a practical elephant. It may look a bit silly, but fine, whatever.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Practical effects. We're always advocating for practical effects.
The Human Centipede, I think, had all practical effects. You know, that's something for it. Yeah.
An elephant centipede. Yeah, the elephant centipede. Shove your trunk up his arse. Yeah. Hang on.
Well, it would have looked any worse than that just hideous photoshopped dog one from the start.
The dog.
Yeah. Just the nose is just slightly touching the arseholes.
Would you not kind of do different animals? Would you not start as large as you can and work your way down? Maybe like an elephant, you know, all the way down
elephant,
until
like
you get to
snake,
maybe a vole.
To a mice. Yeah. So like an ant.
Exactly.
Get an ant in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the antipede. No, it doesn't really work, does it? But yeah, that's surely the final sequence, the true final sequence.
I would say let's stop talking about this, because if Tom Six ever hears this, he may start getting all sorts of ideas.
He might. Yeah, but we want in on the ground floor, if that's the case. I want a story credit.
If I take a cut and I'm a producer, then Six, take all you want. Whatever you need, I'm there.
Hang on a second. What's a cut of fucking nothing? What percentage of nothing will you be taking home?
This is the issue. We'd have to pay into it. This is the problem. Yeah, we're not getting any money. We're paying into the Human Centipede part.
Human Centipede pyramid scheme. And now you're putting Egyptian people onto a sphinx, onto one of those dog gods. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I haven't even had a drink. That's the surprising thing.
There's still stuff that we can do off mic. We don't want to give the listeners too many ideas, because they could steal it. Oh, well, okay. You know, anything else that's worthy of the Human Centipede, or just anything in general?
Yeah. Do you know what? I feel bad that this is my first foray into the world of film vlogs, although I'm a regular listener, because I'm a glutton for punishment. But, you know, I really wish I'd come on and spoken about a film that I had a bit more of something about, you know, that I actually had feelings about, other than, it would have been good to talk about something that was actually a film and not just a series of fucking pictures. Nonsense.
No, it's not a great debut, is it? No, unfortunately. But we have spoken about doing The Fly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now there's a monster movie. Wow.
Yeah, I think if we're going to stick to the body horror stuff, I think that would be a slight step up from the Human Centipede. I think slightly. So I think hopefully we could redeem ourselves. We get John Boy involved as well.
Get that on the Patreon, Monster Floggers, which is not quite as sexy as it sounds.
I'm always thinking of something to put in front of Floggers. I'm always thinking of the new thing. I've got one for children, that involves children. I'm not going to give that away yet. I don't have any children yet, but
you'll be flogging them the second you do.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Transcripts for this podcast are available if you just write to FilmFloggers and enclose a £250 check, and promise you won't give it to the police.
No. No, I think The Fly could be good. The Fly is unbelievable, isn't it? It's such a great film.
Absolutely. There's so much going on.
So, hopefully when you hear myself and Mark again, we might be joined by John as well. We could be talking about a film that's a little bit better than this. So, Mark, please, your podcast, sell away, tell everyone what you're doing recently, what's going on, what's happening, please.
100 Things We Learned from Film, podcast that tries to teach you one or two things about the film we're talking about. We aim to help you win a quiz or trivia or whatever it is you want to do as best we can. As you hear this, we'll be coming to the end of our version of Halloween episodes, which is Scotchtoberfest. We are doing Scottish films because those are scary. Certainly some of the accents and some of the acting is for what we've covered. So by the time you hear this, we'll have talked Gregory's Girl, we'll have talked Restless Natives. We'll be talking about The Stone of Destiny, and we'll be covering Filth, which is a fantastic James McAvoy movie, which also includes some sort of centipede type animal referenced in the books, at least in the shape of a tapeworm, which is much better portrayed in the books than it is in the film. But what can you do? New episodes every week. Have a look through our back catalogue. There's bound to be something there, a film that you like or really hate, and we'll definitely teach you a thing or two about film and bad impressions.
There you go. All the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Look, just look us up, 100 Things Film. You'll find
TikTok.
us on all
You're a
of those.
TikToker, aren't you?
Yeah, but yeah, you've gotten better on TikTok, and I'm getting worse. We're kind of meeting in the middle.
Yeah, I've made more of a conscious effort during October to, well, as you say, I'm getting better. I'm just going on TikTok and just posting a clip from each episode. Well, no, it is. It's an improvement. Yeah, so hopefully Film Floggers will try and get Game Floggers back on at some point. You can see this ghastly green screen behind me.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think you should.
So we'll try and get that set up again if I can convince Fiona. Probably not, but I'll try. Yeah, Film Floggers, social media, you can find us all there. Normally Fiona's here. I'll just get a clip from a previous episode and just put her in, to be honest.
Nice.
Good Pods. I know Good Pods has really taken off recently. It seems like quite a few shows that we both know are doing well, are making their way up the leaderboard, so that's good. It's good that they're getting more attention. I feel like I should be good podding a bit more, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a chart, and it's another chart to strive to get to the top of, and every time you look at it, it's always the same people at the top, and you're looking up at them. You fucking arseholes.
I don't really get it. I do get it, but I mean, I haven't really been on it a lot as such. I've tried to go on it and, rate some episodes and stuff, but I don't. Again, it's just one of those where it's like, okay, by all means, if you want to get Film Floggers to number one, then, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. But you don't really know what that metric means. No, I don't either.
But, have a look at it. It's something.
Hey, great. Yeah, get us on there and get us to the top. That's the important thing.
Yeah, well, that's it, everyone. Yeah. Sorry about that. The Human Centipede. It was, tried our best.
I'm going to go home and create my own final sequence now by stitching some fucking cats together.
Are you not going to go off and watch a Serbian film? It's long overdue.
I'm going to go away and stitch some Serbians together. And two centipedes, one stone, something. Two centipedes, one cup. I'm not really sure where I'm going with that, but yeah.
Well, on that bombshell.
Cheers.
See ya. Right, okay, tell everyone, God.
So you can find us on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, and on TikTok, but Ben doesn't usually use TikTok that much anymore because he just can't.
Does someone have a child?
And if you'd like to leave a review, please like, share, and comment, and you can find us on all the podcasts and sites. Good Pods.
Good Pods, yeah, Podchaser. Obviously Apple, there's always
Spotify stuff.
Room for a review there.
Yep.
Send in your
15-second reviews.
I forgot about that on the last
please.
episode.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to What's Our Seat Number. If you're listening to this trailer, you're deciding whether or not you're going to listen to this podcast.
Good.
But chances are we've lost you already.
Good. Wait, what? No, come on, Matt. What?
Well, I mean, it takes what, like 10 seconds for people to lose interest in things? I am not being defeatist. They've gone already. It's for now.
Well, now they are because we started arguing, so we've both sort of driven them out.
Well, go on then. Tell the dead air who we are.
Okay, the dead air.
The dead air.
The cadaver.
The people who aren't listening anymore.
I'm taking control. You introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce myself, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we're doing, right? It's going to sound more professional that way. Go.
Okay. I'm Johnny Gross. I'm a filmmaker and a film fan and fanatic and obsessive.
Good. Very good. That was very well done. Very professional. You sounded like you're in control and almost like you know who you are.
All right, then. And who are you?
I'm Sai. I'm a 3D artist and a game designer, a film fan. I'm your brother as well.
Really?
So we're going to be talking about some of our favourite movies and hopefully some of yours as well. There's going to be trivia behind the scenes.
Do you want to tell the listeners why we've called this podcast What's Our Seat Number?
You really came to the right person with fielding this question because I feel that I can take this story and really bring it to life. Okay, so one time we went to go and see a film in the cinema and I asked, what's our seat number?
Fantastic.
Was it good?
Yeah.
I did it for you.
It's great. If you want to hear more, you can check out the rest of our episodes. We're hosted by Podbean, but you can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music or Audible, TuneIn, Alexa, Listen Notes, and now on iHeartRadio, Player FM, and Podchaser. So pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Please don't forget to review, like, and rate, and keep listening, because the more you listen, the more we'll be able to produce. Bye.
Ta-ta.